Right, welcome back people of YouTubes. I started doing a job and I realised in the last video that I said that I was going to show you how it was done, and that is replacing the wheel bearings and putting longer wheel studs in. And for the keen-eyed viewers, can you notice something different? Yeah, it's pretty obvious really, isn't it? We've got some bright pink wheels on now, but we'll show you that later on. So let me show you a before and after of the wheel studs, and then we'll get on and yeah, get straight into work. Right, this is the rear of the car, and if you remember in my last video when we put the engine in, that I said that I'd done the wheel bearings because obviously we had one that was faulty, and we put in some extended studs so that we could run wheel spacers. Right, and this is the front of the car, and as you can see, the stud isn't even halfway through the nut yet, and this wheel is fully on, fully tightened up. So yeah, that's no good for racing really. We want quite a lot of the stud through onto the wheel nut so it don't fall off. And the reason why we're doing extended studs again is the wheel spacers. You probably can't see it in there. But these are 8mm wheel spacers to clear the caliper. And to be honest with you, that is very tight in there still. So I might still need to go for a 10mm spacer. Now there's a sore subject on this regarding the wheel spacers. Now I'm going to have a little bit of a rant, and I'll leave it to your decisions of what you think. Now, I've gone from the cockshoot cup to the MG cup, and I've had to change tyres in order, as well as the ECU, in order to compete in the MG cup. As you know, that we ran a set of, if I take you over, a set of trophy wheels with some Kumos, and we can't run them in the cup. We have to run the Toyo tyres because every car has to run Toyo tyres in the cup. So I then tried to make it as cheap as possible. Instead of going out and buying new wheels and new tyres, I'm pretty fortunate, and we found a set of 6 with some pretty much brand new. You can see the tread on them. They have been used for a couple of races, but there's still loads of tread left on them. And the back ones, I've got 2 with brand new tyres on, so they've never been bedded in at all. They've still got the mark on the tyre for the line. Now, my rant is that in the regulations it says that I'm allowed to run any production brake, including the 4-pot AP calipers, and any production wheel, as long as the MGF wheels are on the MGFs and the TF wheels are on the TFs. So I can't run 11 spokes on that. And if you are in the MG communities, we all know that to run AP 4-pots, you need to space the wheels out. Yes, these are the only wheels that will fit from an MGF and clear them 4-pot calipers. The only other wheels that you can get is the ultralights, which are TF wheels, and 11 spokes, which again are TF wheels. So I'd have to go out and buy some more of these, or I could take the tyres off these and obviously swap them over, but I didn't want to do that because I wanted to keep these tyres on just in case I go and do a race with a cockshoot or someone else. So I wanted to keep a set of wheels on with them tyres. And yes, I could have taken them tyres off and put them on them wheels, and taken them tyres off and put them on them wheels. But at the end of the day, it's all about making motorsport affordable. Now, I've gone out and bought these wheels with the tyres, and they were fairly cheap. So there was no real reasons at the time that led me to believe that I can't run these wheels, because everyone run these wheels and they all run them with AP4 spots. Again, admittedly in the Cup they don't, because there isn't many MGFs in the Cup. So yeah, so my understanding was that although it isn't in the regulations, but it is common knowledge that to run these wheels with the 4 parts you need a spacer, and I thought that'd be perfectly fine. But in Class A you cannot run a spacer, end of story. Do I think it's a little bit petty? Yeah, I think it is, but the regulations are the regulations. I get that, absolutely fine, but it's not a championship, that is a series. So they can play around with the regulations as and when they choose to, but they will not allow spacers in Class A. For the fact is that they're making Class A an affordable class, basically. So everything is road going apart from tyres, some suspension springs, lowering springs or adjusted knuckles, and brake pads, and you know, the consumable items basically. So you know, they want to make it affordable in the sense that if you run spacers, then you have to put longer studs in, and then that requires changing the wheel bearings, and in their eyes that's not affordable motorsport. Where I've bought second-hand wheels, second-hand tyres, yes, I've spent out and I've had them all powder coated and stuff, so they're all nice, but it would have been still an affordable package. So yeah, anyway, that's my rant over. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is it petty that I'm going on about it like that, and I should have bought 4 more of them or 6 more of them to go on the tyres? Or do you think just putting a spacer in is sufficient enough? You know, being that is all common knowledge. Anyway, that's my rant over. Again, let me know in the comments what you think is right or wrong or whatever. As I say, regulations state that I can't use spacers in Class A, and I didn't know that until someone had pointed it out to me, because I didn't really read the regulations, knowing that I've raced this car in Class A before, but we have made some changes to that since. Right, let's get to the wheel bearing change and stud change, because I'm still going to do it anyway. And their thing is basically, if I want a race in the Cup, then I'll need to go to Class C, which is the 200 horsepower plus club basically. So anything pretty much goes. And as we all know, I'm running a standard 160 engine with just some exhaust mods and airbox, and I've had to buy a 160 ECU to run in Class A as well, but I've still got the Source 170 ECU, I'm going to call it, because it should have the same sort of map as a 170 really. But yeah, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I might just go and do some Class C races, and just so I've been on the track basically this year. But I have put the feelers out there for another project, another racing project, which I will, as soon as I get it, obviously I'll let you know. Right, so let's get on and let's get this front wheel bearing changed. Right, that's the hub off. Nice and simple, nothing too complicated at all. While we've got it to this point, I've got some surface rust starting to accumulate on these front arms that I want to nip in the bud. So I'm just going to Scotch-Brite that up and then just give it a paint with some direct to rust Hammerite Statin Black. That hopefully will help neutralise it a little bit and, you know, just prolong the life of the arms, because we all know that these rot out quite badly, and these are only just cheap aftermarket ones, which I've put in some black Powerflex bushes in. So yeah, trying to prolong the life of them, and again just keep them nice so they look nice is my goal. That I know race cars aren't meant to look very nice and pretty, especially wondering novice motorsports and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, no, we try our best, keep the value on the car as much as we can. So let me take you to the hub and I'll show you what I've got to put in that. Right, so this is the hub that we got. This was a brand new hub when I put all the TF suspension on. Genuine LE500 stuff, but as you can see, this bearing here has already started to fail, so that wouldn't have been long before that would have there's no play in it, but it is starting to leak all its grease out, and once it's leaked all its grease out, it's got nothing to obviously lubricate itself with. So it's a good job of changing that, and we're changing it with the SKF stuff. These are meant to be the best bearings for these in motorsport situations. So yeah, nice SKF bearing, and it comes with 2 new clips and a new drive shaft nut. So that's that, and then obviously we've got our extended studs as well. So these are obviously the standard ones, and I'll put it against an extended one. You can see the difference in size there. So the first thing to do is to get all this pressed out, all cleaned up, and then we can start pressing in the new bearing and building that up. Before I do that though, I'm going to clean up that front arm and start putting a bit of paint on that so that can dry while I'm obviously building that up. I've already done this side, so we'll just do the other side, and we'll do that just before I start pulling that apart, because as I say, that can dry when I'm rebuilding the hub. Right, it's just going to be a quick job, so it's just going to be a quick scuff up with a bit of Scotch-Brite, just to get all the looseness off really. As I say, it's not too bad, just a little bit of surface rust. And we just want to try and neaten up a little bit, prolong the life of the arms. I'm sure the ball joints will go before the arms go, but not the point. A little bit of thinners on a rag just to clean it up. Get rid of any grease and stuff that might be kicking around. A little bit of paper here to just protect that roll bar, just cover that up. So this is the stuff that I'm using. It's just some Hammerite direct to rust metal paint, satin black. Right, you get the idea. So I've got a little heater. So I've got a little heater here. So I'm just going to pull that in front of it. Turn it on. Help that dry a little bit. I'm going to give it a second coat in a little while once that's tacked off. It should take, well, normally this stuff takes ages to dry, but I think it's like 15 minutes between coats. So we'll crack on, we'll take the wheel bearing out of the hub, and then we'll come back, put on another coat, and then we'll press in the wheel bearing and get that all ready and start building it up. And then hopefully that'll still be tacky when we go to build everything up, but there's nothing in that area that's going to be subjected to touching it. So that should be good enough to sit dry after we've built it all back up again. Alright, first thing you've got to do is you need to press this hub off the actual bearing here. So you need to sit it down on this face in the press. And then get a suitable size socket that goes in the middle. That'll go in there. And start pressing. And we're lucky enough that the inner race didn't get stuck on the hub. Right, we're just going to tap these old studs out. Alright, so we're just going to give this a little bit of a clean with a little bit of Scotch-Brite. And I've got a cloth here with a little bit of thinners left on it. Just to get rid of all the grease and dirt. And then we can fit our new studs. And it's just a case of putting them in, making sure that the old teeth line up, and give it a whack. There we go. Extended wheel studs. So on this, we need to get the inner circlip off on there. Now it isn't a standard circlip, what you'd normally see where you can use circlip pliers. It's a bit of a, well, just a metal band really, nothing really to grab onto, so you have to sort of like try and pick it out. So I'm just going to clean this grease up and then we'll see if we can remove that clip. Right, as you can see here, you've got an edge here and an edge here. So I don't know why they don't make it into a standard circlip, but they don't. Now these are normally rusty in here, but because these are pretty much brand new hubs, mine aren't too bad. But we'll see if we can hold that with a screwdriver and see if we can just pick and flick that upwards. There we go, and that's that out. We're just going to get this cup, stick that in there, and then hopefully and that's your bearing. So I'm just going to go and clean this up, this inner face here, with a bit of Scotch-Brite, and then we'll press the new bearings in. Now there is another clip here. Normally when these are all rusty and you struggle to get the clip out, I always replace the clip, but because I know this is a relatively new hub with new clips and stuff, I'm just going to leave this one in. It's in really good condition and stuff, so there's no point changing it. So just get this cleaned up and then we'll get on and press a new bearing in. Right, all nice and clean. Hub on there, new bearing. Find a cup that fits over the bearing correctly, which isn't that one. And we've got a new clip that just snaps into place. And then we need to press the flange on, so you need a socket that goes over there which clears studs. Put the flange on the hub, or the hub on the flange, and then you'll need a socket that goes over the inner part of the bearing, because you'll be pushing the inner part of the bearing onto the flange. If not, you'll end up damaging the bearing. And there we go, one complete hub all rebuilt. Right, as you can see, that's all nicely painted now, so we'll just whack this hub back on. I'm not fitting this bit back in because that's only there to hold a cable that we haven't got, so just a little bit of weight loss, I guess. Right, there we go. That is wheel bearings and extended studs all round. Yeah, fairly simple. The only difficulties you're going to get is if it's a really old car and them C-clips are all seized in, and the bolts, they tend to be a little bit funny after a while. But I rebuilt this car last year with all new nuts and bolts and everything, so everything was relatively easy to come apart. So hope that's given you some sort of idea on what you need to do to fit some wheels that don't go with the calipers on your car, you know, extended wheel studs and bearings and all that sort of stuff. You can knock the old studs out without doing the bearings, you just can't put the extended ones in. So if you want to just change your studs, you can knock them out and knock the new ones in, no problem at all. That's just because these new ones are slightly longer, you can't just quite get them in there. So you have to take the whole hub off the wheel bearings. So, and all the wheel bearings look like they were about time to go anyway. So anyway, that's enough waffling for today. I hope you like this video. I hope it's given you some sort of insight. Let me know in the comments about my little rant. Do you think I'm going a little bit overboard, or, you know, am I making something a deal of nothing basically? But I think it's, yeah, I'm not too happy with it, but it is what it is. The regulations are the regulations, so I've got to do what the regulations are. This is now not a Class A car anymore. So can I put it back to Class A car? Yeah, I can, but I just won't like it. So what's the point? So I think I'm going to just do a couple of races in Class C, just like the local ones and the tracks that I like. Yeah, and just keep on progressing with this car. And maybe one day we might be able to put a nice engine in the bay, you know, or throttle bodies, you know, what the old cup cars used to be like, and go into Class C. Who knows? But for this season, I think I'm just going to take these as a learning curve, a practice, you know, keep my foot in the racing scene, And as I said in the beginning of the video, I have got another project on the way which will see me in some other racing this year. So we'll be racing 2 cars this year, hopefully. But I'll let you know on that when it turns up. Anyway, that's enough waffling for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe and all that sort of jazz. And we'll see you in the next one.